All the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We've got, it's definitely heating up. I still don't know if they've got the numbers, but they've got a few cities where they might be able to pull some of this off. We'll see if they're able to do this. We do see some similar behaviors from other places where they're trying to ram individuals with cars and getting shot. I've got some more stories of that. These aren't probably going to be people that are going to be missed as much, and I don't believe they've passed away yet. But they will probably get caught. Needless to say, we got a lot to talk about. All sorts of stuff going on right now. And let's get this let's get this game going. I don't even know what I was going to say, but that's not correct. Needless to say, here's some good reminders of what we're actually fighting for and what's actually playing out now.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. This is not simply another 4-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. And the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again.
That is the promise, folks. That is the promise, and we certainly are going to go there together. Where we go one, we go all. Unquestionably. Again, I wanted to point this out real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, and I'm not even going to play the commercial at this point, but I am going to play something else. But it's about 2 minutes, and it's just 2 testimonials. And this is, of course, my Feel Great product. I love this product. And I just got this testimonial shared with me, so I had to share it with you guys. I think this is super cool. But 10 pounds down, fasts are 18 to 20 hours, balanced protein, fiber, fat, and decreased sugar. I love the ginger lemon and the lemon teas. The orange balance is also very flavorful. 100% happy with this program. Again, it's a program where you literally start losing weight without really doing anything other than putting some stuff in water that tastes delicious and drinking it 3 times a day. That's it. It does the rest. It's got science in there, and just the way this yerba mate stuff works, it is helping people become getting rid of their insulin resistance and getting rid of their diabetes. And certainly some people, hottie here, wow, losing some weight, big time. This is a commonality, okay? You don't have to be huge. You don't have to be tiny. You don't have to be enormous. But this is working for everybody under the sun. I wanted to play this one from John because I thought this was actually probably prevalent for a lot of people out there.
In my early 30s, I got diagnosed type 2 diabetic. I didn't think that I was. I worked 80 hours a week. I just thought I was always going to be tired. I wasn't feeling right. Went into the hospital, actually because Carrie made me go to the hospital. They asked me, Mr. Cox, how long have you been diabetic? And I said, I'm not. And they said, well, with a blood sugar of 598 and an A1C, I don't think it would register, but they said it was a 16. I said, how did you walk in here? I spent a week at the hospital. They put me on 4 insulin shots per day. I asked, is there anything I can do not to take these? And they said, nope, you're going to be on them forever, which was the biggest lie they could have told me. Long story short, with the insulin, I gained 80 pounds over 10 years. I had fatty liver. I was on 2 blood pressure meds, 1 cholesterol med, eventually developed diabetic retinopathy. I was faced with getting shots right before I started this protocol. But for about 3 years, I battled neuropathy terrible. I mean, it dictated my every thought. My monthly insulin cost was $1,300 a month until my deductible was made, not including the rest of the pills. In the course of that time, I took over 20,000 insulin shots in my life. Becky calls. I finally look at it. Trent and Greg Six and Becky actually show me. And I thought, I have nothing to lose. I was on a path of an early death in 4 months. And I didn't lose any weight for the first month. I didn't realize that because my insulin was so high, I wasn't going to lose weight. But then I lost 35 pounds. And in 4 months, I got off 4 insulin shots per day, 2 blood pressure meds, 1 cholesterol. I got off all my neuropathy meds. When right before we went to Bangkok, I went and had my eyes checked. The doctor was so weirded out about it because she was looking at 18 months ago and she was scanning my eyes. She's like, what are you doing? She goes, your prescription in both eyes improved. You were faced with going blind, and I've never seen you had been diabetic for a day, let alone 20 years. So now I'm down 57 pounds.
This program's changing people's lives, and all you have to do is purchase the product, the powders, Unimate, right? You're going to get 2 of these a day. It's little packets. They're delicious. At least she likes the lemon ginger. I like the lemon. To me, it tastes like iced tea with lemon in it. It's delicious. Delicious. Drink this twice a day, then you do the balance once. And it's got some fiber, and it helps you process carbohydrates differently. People's lives are changing. And doctors are like, what? What are you doing? Not listening to you. That's what I'm doing, quack. I'm taking care of it and taking matters in my own hands. OTFspecial.com. OTFspecial.com. Make that choice for yourself. Make that choice for your loved ones. Mostly, though, be selfish. Make it for you, man. Or woman. You're going to love it. You're going to love how you feel. Definitely. Dan Bongino posted this, and I love the fact, and I think he's maybe coming back for this fight, because I've come across a few people that are definitely attacking him now, and it's a lot of the same people that tend to be divisive in the movement. And I think it's really important. There's always been this, you can't call people out. We can't be divisive within our own movement. The people that are behind our enemy lines have been using that to protect themselves. I don't think that's true anymore. I do believe now is the time to call these people out. We need to get the cancer out of our camp, and we need to make sure we can trust the camp that we've got and move forward together. We've got a lot of rhinos. We've got a lot of people that are desperately working against us that are out there, be it if they're grifting for money, be it if they literally are working for the other side. I don't really know, and I don't really care. If you're consistently on the wrong side of the path, the wrong side of the road, you're out. You're done. I don't care. I'll call you out for it, too. Dan Bongino doing much the same. He's obviously got a little bit bigger shtick that he can do it with. But yes, gatekeeping is absolutely going to happen. There isn't a business, sports team, or organization on earth that would do otherwise if they wanted to succeed. You don't allow cancers into your clubhouse and then plan to win baseball games. You waive them, trade them, or release them. Libs and enemies of our country understand this, and they have found a path to fracture our movement from the inside, but only if we cower from it. I will always relish this year of my life serving you all, this incredible administration, but I'm back now, and this mission is equally important. We built this movement. It's ours. and now we're going to take it back. And we are. It is now time to call out the people that are fracturing our movement from the inside. They must be stop listening to them, for one. Certainly stop buying any of their products. Stop helping them in any way, shape, or form. And we will take this movement back. Donald Trump, truth this. Republicans should be ashamed of the senators that just voted with Democrats in attempting to take away our powers to fight and defend the United States of America. We talked about this vote yesterday. 5 Republican senators crossed the line to vote with Democrats to try to take away Trump's powers in Venezuela. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and Todd Young should never be elected to office again. Let me repeat those names. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and Todd Young. Get the fuck out. You're done. You're never going to win another election again, and I'm pretty sure this isn't the end of the list. This vote greatly hampers American self-defense and national security, impeding the president's authority as commander-in-chief. In any event, and despite their stupidity, the War Powers Act is unconstitutional, totally violating Article 2 of the Constitution, as all presidents and their departments of justice have determined before me. Nevertheless, a more important Senate vote will be taking place next week on this very subject. We'll see how it plays out, of course. Trump can always veto it, and I don't think they can get past a veto. And so we've got people that are showing their true colors. It's fantastic. Now, the collapse is still continuing. Now we're seeing from some of these state leaders. We've got incompetent, and Trump, truth this, incompetent California leaders headed by Governor Gavin Newsom and traveling mayor who likes Africa better than the USA. She chose to go there rather than stay home and fight the worst fire in California history. Are absolutely unable to get people permits to rebuild their homes. All federal permits have been issued and received. All federal permits are done. The only reason nobody's rebuilt in Palisades is because California has refused to do their part. Of course, the big question is why. We obviously know they're hoping to buy out as many of those lots as possible. So the longer they hold out, the more people that'll have to sell, and California will be able to have their 15-minute city. They're destroying people's lives in the process. Ma'am Downey's clown show, a.k.a. shit show, is offering its opening act. Kind of funny, just a lot of things that he claimed weren't going to happen or are going to happen or whatever. But Ma'am Downey was literally sworn in on January 1st. Was talking about how he's going to make everything affordable and equity and transformation and all that. Literally 1 week in, and the socialist imbecile has already humiliated himself multiple times in front of an entire nation. At this rate, he's going to make even Bill de Blasio look like Abraham friggin' Lincoln. But by this time, yes, we've got the subway and bus fares. They immediately raised the prices. Immediately. It was supposed to be cheaper or free. Immediately, the prices went up. It hadn't raised them in a while, I guess, but whatever the case is, it happened on his watch. It was planned beforehand, but he gets to be the one that wears that. So instead of grappling with the inconvenient collision between slogans and spreadsheets, the new mayor did what any seasoned activist would do. He charged the subject to the expensive cost of World Cup tickets. So now he's saying that he's on a crusade, that FIFA's charging too much for tickets, and so he's going to get New York some affordable tickets. That's not going to happen. He has no control over that. It's absolutely insane that he thinks he could. He might be able to get a couple free ones for himself if he's lucky, but odds are that's not even going to happen. So he's made a number of poor choices, as well as this individual here, and this explosive example of their mess-ups. He's one of the key positions. They got an ideological activist whose past statements attacked private property, denounced home ownership, and treated ownership itself as a moral failing. Best example is this lady, Sia Weaver. She's newly appointed director of the mayor's office to pro-tenants, whose old tweets and videos blew up this week after she was shown calling homeownership a weapon of white supremacy and arguing that property should be treated as a collective good rather than an individual right. That's insane. So I'm going to pay for it, but everybody else gets to use it? Is that how that works? Okay. So they can just use my car whenever they want to, too, I assume, right? But I got to pay for the insurance. I got to pay for any repairs or damage done to it while someone else is using it because it's community property. Oh, this is This isn't even communism. They just total outright just stripping people of their property. It's freaking awesome. We've got California's in such bad shape, especially some of the counties, that they're actually talking about something that's asinine, insane, and is just brutal if this is allowed to happen. So a lot of people, like if you sell a home here, homes are very expensive here. It's just the way it is, extraordinarily expensive, right? It's not that it's worth more. It's because things are failing so poorly in the big picture that, inflation is huge in California. So average home price around $1 million out here, okay? Democrats are responding by increasing a tax fee. So when you sell your home, typically you pay $2,000 to the government, to the county, as a tax fee. They want to raise that up to $60,000, meaning if I sell my $1 million home, if I don't have at least 60 grand of equity in it, I'm going to lose money on the sale. I'm going to have to give more than I got in taxes. And they've done nothing. They've done nothing. They've taken my property tax money and spent it on stuff. They've boondoggled all these different grants that they've done against my property tax. I just can't imagine this is actually going to be able to go through. This El Cajon, which I think is down in the San Diego area, or Los Angeles. I don't know. I think El Cajon's down there. Wherever. I don't even know where exactly it's at. Not a place I go to often enough, but the crazy that's happening. Nick Shirley exposes Kamala Harris for choosing Tim Walz because of he was the most corrupt politician. And he's got a really interesting point that he makes here about why Kamala brought him in.
You know what's interesting about Tim Walz? Why do you think Kamala Harris chose Tim Walz? Nobody knew who he was before.
Why? That is interesting.
The first day he's chosen, he raises the most amount of money than any other candidate in history. I think it's over $35 million he raised for the campaign within just a day of being selected to become the vice president. And now we know all this fraud's happening. How did Tim Walz, he used to be a high school football coach. He's not even from Minnesota. He's from Nebraska. How was he able to raise the most amount of money?
That's great. Do you think the Somalians were funding it?
100%. It had to be some sort of fraud.
Yeah.
You know what's
has to be, right? That's what we're seeing. Now here's Kathy Hochul just blowing all of our minds. She is announcing plans to spend billions of dollars on childcare programs. If it wasn't so common right now to be talking about, it's so strange that she's saying it right when we've got investigations into childcare fraud happening.
This year we're committing an additional $1.7 billion in what we call recurring spending, something my budget director hates, but meaning we're committed. And so that means our total childcare investment this year will be $4.5 billion in the state of New York. So we're in this.
And roughly about $4.2 billion of that will be laundered and stolen from the taxpayers. Excelente. J.D. Vance dropping truth bombs on Tim Walz. Thinks Tim Walz should resign. Many of us do.
Well, I think Tim Walz should resign because it's very clear either that he knew about the fraud in Minneapolis, he knew about the welfare fraud, or at the very least he looked the other way. I mean, this is not like Lex Luthor, right? This is not movie villain fraud. This is the lowest IQ possible fraud. We're going to take we're going to take the absence of kids and set up a daycare center where there are no children, and we're going to call our early childhood education center the Quality Learning Center. By the way, if you can't spell learning, maybe you shouldn't be in early childhood education. But people got rich off of this. We know that there were schools who either had no enrollment or at least they overstated their enrollment. Tim Walz, either it was unbelievable incompetence or he was in on the fraud. That's one of the things we're going to get to the bottom of.
Yeah, he's so incompetent and somehow managed to get in on this fraud. United States Postal Service is sending out alarming letters to all employees and contractors. The letter signals that an impending crisis of civil unrest or an epidemic could be imminent. What do they know that we don't know? It's dated January 5th, 2026. That was like the day or two before the shooting. I'm sure it's just coincidence, right? Of course it is. Woman killed in Minneapolis was on ICE watch. She was a left-wing activist, we've come to find out. She was trained to resist Fed agents. So yeah, she was there specifically for that. They came to the area to help with this, her and her wife. And there's even some people that are talking about it, witnesses to Minneapolis ICE shooting, says 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good was deliberately blocking ICE vehicles. She was very effective in stopping traffic. She was doing exactly what she set out to do, this witness was saying. So we've got a number of people that are professionally going out and frankly, committing fraud, but certainly trying to stop ICE agents from doing their jobs. This is going to lead to more shootings, unquestionably. White House had something to say about this. I think I've got this pulled up somewhere else, but we'll skip it when we find it.
The deadly incident that took place in Minnesota yesterday occurred as a result of a larger, sinister, left-wing movement that has spread across our country, where our brave men and women of federal law enforcement are under organized attack. Right now, immigration and customs enforcement officers are facing a 1,200% increase in assaults, a 3,200% increase in vehicle rammings, and an 8,000% increase in death threats. ICE agents are faithfully enforcing federal law to protect the safety of the American people by removing criminal illegal aliens from our country, which is exactly what nearly 80 million Americans elected President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance to do. Radicals in the Democrat Party are furious over this. They don't want our border secured or criminal illegal aliens being removed. As a result, Democrats are impeding immigration enforcement operations daily, creating extremely heightened and dangerous circumstances that make it nearly impossible for the men and women of law enforcement to simply do their jobs.
Yeah, it's getting crazy is exactly what's happening. So, yeah, all sorts of Antifa stuff going on out there. We know it. Same organization. These people get signs printed up fresh immediately. So, yes, video shows ICE shooting. I think we've got more images of that. ICE agent involved in the Minneapolis shooting, he was actually dragged by an illegal driver, literally like 6 months before. Literally dragged. He ended up with 33 stitches. He was damaged. This was the dude that shot the lady. This was the guy that got a little punchy maybe when they started driving the vehicle right at him. Maybe he had some flashbacks, a little PTSD kicked in. Bah. That's it. You're using a weapon, a car, in an illegal fashion. Yeah, you're going to get shot. We do have an individual that will be sharing his opinions. I swear to God it's Snoop Dogg. It's not, but it almost seems like it. He's going to cuss a bunch, and I love it because it's freaking awesome. But here is an ICE protester admitting she's being paid. This is Ingram out there.
Shame! Shame!
Do you have a job? Do you have a job?
Shame! Shame! I'm getting paid right now! Shame! Shame!
So stupid. I'm sorry. Laura Ingram is one of the biggest artards out there. Again, she's a brilliant lady. She's a lawyer, yada, yada, whatever the hell. She bugs the hell out of me. She's one of my least favorite on the platform. Doesn't matter, though. Breaking 9/11 posted this. ICE protesters are coached on where to stand before a press conference. This is embarrassing. These guys are so, one, organized. Well, they're not organized. Yes, they are.
I forewarned you about the other day, didn't I? Oh, God, that's a first for me.
Okay.
At least they didn't carry me.
Let's do a line back here. Okay, come on up. So this is sort of the line. Yep. Sort of at an angle.
So who's this guy work for? Right? Yeah. Again, it's happening. It's coming. We know it. It's all happening. Got a few things from J.D. Vance, in this case, talking about the media over their coverage of this. We actually do have the one mainstream media report that actually did a fair job on this, but J.D. Vance is, he's pissed.
When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Hell yeah. Totally be ashamed of yourself. He continues digging into the fake news hacks. He's asked me a question. He presumed that the reason this woman died. Anyway, let him discuss this. It's pretty cool.
Well, being part of the network doesn't justify being shot, but ramming an ICE officer with your car, that's what justifies being shot. It's not a good thing, by the way, but when you force somebody to engage in self-defense, it's almost a preposterous question. I'm not saying that funding some of this stuff justifies capital punishment. Nobody would suggest that. The reason this woman is dead is because she tried to ram somebody with her car and that guy acted in self-defense. That is why she lost her life, and that is the tragedy. Now, there may be other violations of the law and other penalties that are associated with those violations of the law. For example, if you are funding violence against our law enforcement officers, I'm not a prosecutor. My guess is that's not the sort of thing that earns capital punishment, but it should sure as hell earn you a few years in prison if you're funding the effort to try to assault our law enforcement officers. What is, I'm sorry guys, what's going on here? You guys are meant to report the truth. How have you let yourself become agents of propaganda of a radical fringe that's making it harder for us to enforce our laws? You just asked me a question that presumed that the reason why this woman died is because she was engaged in legitimate protest. She tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened.
Yeah, or basically, fuck you. At least that's what he should have said. Bill Malugin posted this. An independently owned Marriott hotel in Bloomington, Minnesota confirms to Fox News that they have ID'd and fired an employee who's been doxing ICE agents by leaking their names, emails, and surveillance images of them as they check in at the front desk. The images appeared in an anti-ICE Reddit post that went up last night. They took some screenshots, yada, yada. So yeah, the hotel in question was the Residence Inn in Bloomington. Again, don't do anything to retaliate to the hotel itself other than never use it again. Now, they fired the person. We'll see if this clears up. But we're finding a lot of this kind of stuff. So any place this is being reported, we need to put the pressure on big time so the larger chain smashes down the little bastard that's trying to do illegal stuff in this case. You're not allowed to dox people like that. That's really screwed up and very bad business practice. So good on them. There's the thing I said I thought I had already, so we don't need to play that. Here is the one nightly news, NBC. Good job, NBC. You're the one mainstream media crap place that actually really did a fair job on this story.
We want to now take a closer look at the videos we just saw of the shooting incident. And joining us now to highlight some key points investigators will be looking at is NBC's Tom Winter. He covers law enforcement for us. So, Tom, we're going to start the video here, and we're going to stop it pretty quickly because there's stuff we were learning from the get-go. Again, the police chief saying this vehicle was blocking the federal agents right there.
That's right, Tom. And a big caveat, we don't know what happened before this, but they're definitely going to look at the fact this is an unmarked vehicle, but the lights are on. These are clearly members of law enforcement, so that's at least known to this driver.
Let's play the video because something else happens right here. Those officers approach the vehicle. They try to open the door. Let's stop it here. How will this help the investigators?
whatever is said here, what these officers say, if the driver said anything or not, could really help them understand whether or not they thought there was some sort of an imminent threat. Was this person trying to listen to them? Were they scared? Or was this going to be a problem?
And then, of course, what the driver does next. Let's play that video. Trying to leave there. One of the officers felt like they were forced to fire, and they do. We want to show another angle, reverse angle of the same incident here. We're going to freeze it. This is that same angle here. And what does this show us, Tom?
Well, this appears to show an officer right in front of the vehicle. That, and between the way that the vehicle was moving and the timeline of that, how was the officer responding in that split second going to be critical for investigators.
Finally, one more piece of evidence we want to talk about here, and it is the bullet hole in the front of the windshield. What will this tell investigators?
Now, you look at this, you look at ballistics, you look at witness statements, you look at other video, all going to be part of this investigation. But, Tom, it's going to take some time.
All right, Tom Winter for us. Tom, we thank you for that.
And I'm doubtful he was actually trying to give her another hole in her noggin. You know, he shot and he was probably kind of moving out of the way. Frankly, he's probably mostly surprised he even hit her. But he was probably shooting for center of mass. I believe that's how they're generally trained. Popped her in the head. That was it. Here's a gentleman that's going to cuss a lot. I'm calling him Snoop Dogg because, I don't know, seems fitting. I like him. I like this guy. I like that he cusses a lot, frankly. But if you've got children, be careful.
Y'all knew it was coming. So here it is. I'm going to tell you. Fuck your feelings. Facts is facts. At the end of the day, I don't want to hear, oh, she had 3 kids, or she had a 6-year-old. She was a good mother. She wasn't considering any of that when she got her ass behind that wheel and started operating it and drove it at a fucking federal officer. That's simple. Fuck your feelings. What's going on in Minnesota, Minneapolis, wherever the fuck it is, where all them motherfuckers are snapping over the motherfucking daycare shit? Y'all created that shit. And the lady from Missouri, she got up there motherfucking, y'all, I'm gonna show you now. I just moved to Minnesota. I'm from the show me state. They showed her and put some holes in her motherfucking face. And now that bitch ain't got shit to say. And her kids are never gonna see their mom again. Why? Because she made a stupid motherfucking move. If it was a nigga, you'd have just said, that's a dumb nigga. He should have complied. Well, that was a dumb white bitch and she should have fucking complied. And now she got what she got, and it is what it is. The bitch should have motherfucking listened. She should have got out the fucking car, complied, and she would have went on about her day, and her kids would be having motherfucking dinner with her ass. Instead, that bitch got holes in her motherfucking head, and she ain't here no more, and it is what it is. Fuck your feelings. Facts is facts. Get out they fucking way, let them do their fucking job, leave them people to fuck alone, and they ain't gonna fuck with you. You keep fucking with them, go on and drive a car to a motherfucking officer if you want to, and see if you don't catch some hot ones in your ass. It is what it is.
I don't think I've even said that many fucks in an entire show. Like, I don't even think I've said that many fucks in 1 week, frankly. That is excellent. That's like an Eddie Murphy movie right there. That was fantastic. Well done, sir. Well done. And yeah, obviously I say he sounds like Snoop because he sounds like Snoop. Dude's awesome. Snoop Dogg. I want to hear him sing it. This is kind of funny. I mean, if you think about it, this is the Bovino. What's his name? Bovino. Yeah. He is the guy in charge of ICE, or is it the Border Patrol? One of the two. I think it's ICE. Commander Bovino, whatever. He's up in the Capitol, pissing people off up there. I don't know if we need to play all 17 seconds.
Can we say breaking news? Commander Bovino has taken control of the Minnesota State Capitol.
That's pretty funny. And he is Border Patrol. I was right about that, at least. So, very cool. He's just in the Capitol, which I'm sure some of it was symbolic. Some of it was probably meant to piss off people like Waltz. Now, here is an agitator basically attacking Border Patrol Commander Bovino, and that didn't go well for the agitator. We're going to play some of this.
Now, get the fuck out of the way! Out of the way! Get out of the way! Get your hands off him! Now!
Get the fuck back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
Get back!
Good.
Who's down there? What's your name?
Give me your hand!
Who's down
Give me
there?
your
What's
hand!
your name?
Give him your hand!
What name? Why?
Don't step up here.
Stand back.
Not here. Here.
Why?
Don't step up here.
I thought that was Bovino's knee on her, but it's actually the this dude in front. And then he kind of tripped over him. I think she moved and he moved or whatever. Anyway, they arrested. And then as they were driving away, it was kind of cool. Whoops. At one point, I think they were pulling out. Yeah, and the guy's got like bear spray, pepper spray, whatever. in his hands with the door open, just like, all right, bitches, any one of you, come on. Come on. Game's on like Donkey Kong, he seemed to say. Border Patrol agents, they shoot 2 people in Sanctuary City, Portland today. We come to find out these are 2 Tren de Aragua gang members. They were involved in a legal stop, and they tried to ram the agents. Shots were fired. Apparently one of them likely was hit. I don't know if they've caught him at this point, but things are definitely starting to get a little crazy in the places you would expect. So obviously Minneapolis, Chicago's bound to happen, New York likely, LA maybe, certainly Portland, Seattle probably. It'll be interesting. They say there's supposed to be 14 cities. I don't know. I don't know if that number is like some magical number. I don't know why. It's just funny watching people, it's 17 cities, and they're like, no, 14. It's just like, okay. How do we know exactly? But yeah, whatever it's going to be, it'll be. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be 14 or not. Might be. Illegal criminals released into the U.S. by Biden. Really, like 5 cities burning hardcore. I feel like that would be enough, wouldn't it? Wouldn't the whole nation look at that and be like, dude, seriously? Seattle's on fire? Portland's on fire? Minnesota? Chicago? Hopefully not us. Maybe. Illegal criminals released into the U.S. by the Biden administration have been ID'd as Portland Tren de Aragua gangbangers shot while trying to mow down feds. So they will catch them. They don't seem to have they don't do the tear tats anymore. Those used to freak me out when people would come in with the tear tats. Little tattoos of teardrops. Supposedly that's like for people, the number of people they've killed or some crazy thing. I don't know. Face tats always freak me out. Anybody that gets tats in their face, it just really trips me out. That's like a level of like dedication that I am not prepared for. It's a funny joke, I can handle marriage and I can handle kids. But tattoos, they're just so permanent. Anyway, funny joke, not mine. I've shared my 2 jokes before. New York City protester chant, Kristi Noem will hang and save a life, kill an ICE. Because, that doesn't spark any sort of problems or anything. So again, in New York, this is what we're seeing. They're trying desperately to spin this into something bigger. And they'll continue, we're quite sure. But we'll see if they're successful. Again, as my thumbnail yesterday suggested, I don't know if they've got the oomph. They might be able to pull this off in a couple small locations. I don't think they've got the oomph. I think publicly and from a larger level, I think about 80%, and I've got that somewhere. I think roughly about 80% of the population is kind of behind. It's a CNN poll, and I'm sort of extrapolating it into places it's not necessarily meant to go, but I think still it speaks to it. I think 80+% of people are like, no, this isn't cool. These people are trying to do their jobs, and you guys are literally getting in front of them, and you're threatening them with your cars and stuff like any rational person that actually enjoys any semblance of civil society is going to have to be able to get behind this, regardless of your political affiliations. Right? You can feel all you want, but if it's actually a federal officer doing his job and you think you can get in the way, and somehow in your stupid pea brain that makes sense, all right, get out there and put your pussy hat on. Shoot, have at it. I don't care. I guess that's what you do. So, yeah. Rep Craig is talking about shutting down the government over ICE. Should be on the table. I hope they do. That would be rad. That would be fantastic. I pray they do, because that'll play so horribly. Democrats are just, I don't know if they're walking into a trap. I feel like we're nudging them into traps. Is what it feels like to me. It's what it seems like, what it feels like. And they're just incapable of getting out of it. They can't. They're like, I hate you no matter what. And they're like, we know. And so we just keep pushing them into corners no matter where. They're gonna agree with what we're fighting. They're gonna agree with the enemy. It's horrible. So yeah, we'll see if they shut down the government for that reason. They're gonna look for something to blame it on. Frankly, the government's shutting down because we don't have any money. Trump's trying to do that with tariffs, but he's also slowly turning on the things that we need. Not necessarily all, 13 spending things they do, or 12 or something like that. Pretty good number. And I think they got 5 spoken for, somewhere around there. It's not very many, not even close to half. Well, close to half. Tim Walz calls for statewide protests to grab control of Minneapolis shooting investigation. This was a federal agent that was attacked by somebody, and you want You want to have your people, the same people that found zero corruption in Minnesota, and all it took was some 21-year-old kid and a friggin' cell phone camera to find out the fraud? Tim, buddy, come on. Maybe you got a tampon in your ear? In your eyes? What? You shake weighting again? What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? He couldn't shake weight. You see that little... Stop it. I can't even wave. It hurts so much. Homo. Here is Philly corrupt DA, District Attorney Larry Krasner. DA, District Attorney. Threatening.
If any law enforcement agent, any ICE agent, is going to come to Philly to commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here. Because if you do that here, I will charge you with those crimes. You will be arrested. You will stand trial. You will be convicted, whether it's in state or federal court. It's my office prosecuting it. That's how the law works. And you will do your time because Donald Trump cannot pardon you for a state court conviction. Do you hear me, ICE agents? Do you hear me, National Guard? Do you hear me, military? You're going to jail if you commit crimes in the city of Philadelphia. You will be accountable. The law applies to all of you. And I know that there are honest, decent, moral law enforcement officers out there by the bushel, including in ICE. This is not for you. This is for any one of your colleagues who thinks they are above the law.
What law have they broken? Other than maybe the stupid mask covering law, which is not an adequate law anyway, and you can't put somebody in jail for that at all. So, whatever. But I'm curious what this law is. I assume he's referring to murder, but it's definitely not what the case is. And now he looks like this asshole that actually doesn't really look at the case at all when he judges somebody or when he makes decisions. He doesn't really care what the facts of the case are. He just wants to push the narrative that he as a DA is trying to when they're framing people, when they're putting people in jail for no reason, when they're railroading people, which is, I'm sure, what they do in his office. What's your name, Philly corrupt bastard DA Larry Krasner? Dude, pull the penis out of your butt and stick it in your mouth for a little while. Bastard. That was probably over the top. Whatever. J.D. Vance announces new DOJ division. Assistant AG is going to lead a national fraud crackdown. This is amazing. We are creating a new assistant attorney general position. I thought I had him saying this at some point, but they're creating this new assistant attorney general position who's going to have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. That person's efforts will start and focus primarily in Minnesota, but it is going to be a nationwide effort because, unfortunately, the American people have been defrauded in a very nationwide way. Here's the fun thing. We've got AGs like Larry Krasner, who probably can't talk right now because he's busy sucking on something. But we've got a national attorney general who will have jurisdiction in these cases because it's federal money. Federal money being used and abused. It's a federal crime. So we're no longer going to trust your stupid state AG to do their jobs. We're going to handle it with our person who will supersede you. And they'll probably be approved through the Senate somehow. It's a national, too, for that matter, so they almost can't blue slip it. So this will be a fun way to fight that little problem that they're creating for themselves. Ilhan Omar has been caught trying to funnel $1 million to a substance abuse clinic operating out of a restaurant run by 3 people at the same address. GOP torpedoes the earmark. It's awesome. I don't know if it's worth the time. Yeah.
What I uncovered the other day in one of our spending bills making its way through Congress was a $1 million earmark from Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, which was an earmark that was supposedly going to a substance abuse clinic which actually happened to be housed in a restaurant and run by 3 individuals that share the same residential address, according to their IRS paperwork. Tons of red flags. So this is what we saw with the fraud involving the daycare centers. Now we see other earmarks coming directly from members of Congress where it seems fraud is being perpetrated as well. So I raised the issue, and fortunately, the House has now stripped that earmark out of that spending bill. But again, this is how easy money has been flowing to bad actors in Minnesota.
What bothers me most about this is this was, what is it, $1 million? It's a small amount of money. $1 million earmark. $1 million earmark. An earmark that they're, able to get rid of as easy as they were able to get rid of it. $1 million watermark that was going to one state, that one person was probably getting a benefit from. How many earmarks are there normally in a bill? Is anyone looking at any of them? They somehow found this one. Why? Because it was from Minnesota and they were specifically looking for Minnesota. Well, why can't you do that for other stuff? Because I guarantee you, over 75%, it's way over, being super conservative, over 75% of Congress is involved in fraud. Easily. Over 75% involved in fraud. So they found this $1 million earmark. Now, this might have been going straight into Ilhan Omar's pocket. Who knows? But I still find that strange. Rep. Comer tells Catherine Herridge he is referring Ilhan Omar to the Ethics Committee. So were they going to censure her, or can they do something bigger? I hope he says something bigger.
You said this week that Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was, quote, at the top of the suspect list. Can you elaborate?
Well, we have to disclose annually our financial statements. And, I think it's public knowledge what the salary is for Congress, and it's been the same. I've been here 9 years. It's been the exact same, $174,000 for 9 years. Omar's been here maybe 5 or 7 years. But regardless, her net worth just out of nowhere skyrocketed. We know it's tied to a venture capital or private equity fund, some type of investment, 2 investment funds that her husband's running. We have a lot of questions about where the money came from. How do you make that much in fees in a short period of time?
Is the Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, is this a case that could be referred to the Ethics Committee?
Absolutely. The Ethics Committee's sole purpose in life is to investigate members of
Will
Congress.
you refer her case to the Ethics Committee?
Absolutely. And I think that there are going to be a lot of members that will encourage the Ethics Committee to take this up, because it's just a simple question. It shouldn't take very long. One little session with the Ethics Committee, with basic questions, how did he amass this much money? And then if they're not satisfied with the answer, then they can certainly get those financial records.
Yeah, I still, what would they do? Congress is worthless. Senate is most worthless. House is a lot of worthless, right? But Senate's far worse, far worse. Senate's just worthless completely. It pains me. Catherine Herridge is still talking to Comer. Trump DOJ is investigating election fraud. Also, check this out.
Are you investigating any links between these schemes in Minnesota and alleged voter fraud in Minnesota?
Yes, that's more the Department of Justice doing that right now. We haven't gotten into the voter fraud aspect yet. Right now, we're just following the money and following the fraud with respect to the government social programs. But I do know that the Department of Justice is on the ground looking into the election fraud aspect of this.
And potential ties to these alleged fraud schemes?
Yes, because there's a sneaky suspicion that there's a pay-to-play scheme taking place in Minnesota with these social welfare programs, where in return, not only do these Somali fraudsters make massive donations to Democrats in Minnesota, they also really turn out a big voting block of Somalis, which is apparently a lot bigger voting block in Minnesota than I first realized.
Question I have, do you guys think that maybe There are other groups across the country right now that are already like, oh, they're going to friggin' find us, and are already getting smart and starting to burn records or create records, maybe. I wonder, because this is, everyone knows, way more widespread than what we're being told. I'm assuming they're focusing on Minnesota because they've, one, just probably got solid proof. Two, they get to embarrass somebody that was running for vice president, so it really tarnishes Kamala Harris, which kind of takes her out of the running in a lot of ways. And then once we shift our focus to California, because obviously these kinds of things are happening there too, and then we find out that it is, we've literally destroyed both of their two main political opponents in one fell swoop. And on top of that, it's campaign promises made by Trump. And when it comes to who's going to win the next election, I honestly think it's going to have mostly to do with who Trump actually says he's backing. If Trump tells us someone's got his backing, most likely that's who's going to get the votes, because most of us don't frankly know who we can trust. We know who we like, but we don't know who we can trust. At least, hopefully, most of us realize that. This is all playing out. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This is going to so be wrong, but I'm doing it anyway. First off, I'm going to put the commercial up. I'm only going to talk about this one product, but I just think it's kind of funny. So danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. They've got the Stem Active. They've got the Revive, Amaze for the hair. They've got Prime. I just sent out some stuff to some people. I've sent everything I've got, and the little bit of stuff that I wasn't able to send people that asked, I'm going to try to see what I can put together. But I mean, I'm not going to go buy a bunch of stuff to give away. It's expensive enough as it is. But needless to say, I want you guys to at least be able to try it. So it is better than the alternative. So we'll try it again one of these days. I'll maybe get something, or I'll buy a bulk thing and, write it off, have a good month or something, and we'll try to, make it up for you guys and get some cool stuff out there. All that said, wife is jailed after caging, starving, and boiling her husband with 60 chihuahuas. Just let that sit in for a second. Wife jailed her husband, then caged him, starved him, and boiled him with 60 chihuahuas as the Belgian court rejects she did it because of menopause. She was Danish, I think, or where Belgian, where they have the waffles. Crazy ass woman. Needless to say, balance is people going through that menopause stuff. Don't boil your husband. Don't boil your 60 chihuahuas. Try balance first. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. 1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks. Transdermal lotion. Put it right here. Ladies are raving about this. The ones that are getting synthetic hormones, they're actually digging it. It's actually filling in the grooves. The ones that don't like the synthetic hormones are loving balance. It's actually giving them what the synthetic hormones were supposed to. There are 0 hormones in balance. It's plant-based. It helps your body regulate this properly. You'll be amazed. It will bring balance to your life. It'll bring balance back to your relationships, your temperatures, your how you feel, your appetite even maybe. It will bring back balance. It's a lifesaver for a lot of ladies out there. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Also, if you're worried about your hair and skin and your joints, right? You got joint problems, you get sagging skin, especially now that you're losing weight because you're doing Feel Great. You're going to need some collagen. Get that skin elastic again so it kind of snaps back. Once you start losing that weight and you start looking good, and you can run around like some of these celebrities now, older, but they're looking hot, right? Well, that's you. That's you right now. Amaze. We'll do just that for you. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices for healthy products too, and you will be stoked. Where is it? I have lost my cursor. That's awesome. We'll find it. House passes an extension of the Obamacare subsidies, sending the bill to the Senate. Little chance this is going to pass the Senate. I think this needs a 60 because it's a money thing. So it's not likely going to pass, even with the 5 traitor bastards that are there. We'll see. House fails to override Trump vetoes of Colorado-Florida water project. Oh, Bo Burr. Sorry, baby. Come over here and I'll console you. Even though you're not Asian. It's okay. I'll take one for the team. It's all right. You deserved it. You've earned it. We got Luna's now going after this guy. This is pretty funny. Singham's his name. Funds violent riots, including No Kings, stuff like this. Neville Singham, corrupt billionaire. I guess she's trying to get a subpoena going on. So he faces a subpoena from the House Rep. Anna Paulina Luna. She passed this motion unanimously. Very cool. So, yeah, this happened. And try to get this guy who's supposedly involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. So we'll see if this guy can be brought in for questioning. I literally do not know where the hell I'm at. Oh, way over here. Crap, that's why. U.S. releases Russia crew members of the seized tanker that they took, the Marinera, which was the Bella 1. They gave back the 2 crew members that were Russian. Russia's like, thank you. And so, yeah, we're keeping the boat, but there's your people. We don't want them. That's cool. They just took another boat. This one's, there's no audio on this, but they flew in a chopper. Do it. Arnold was with the gun, and it was draped over his hand. Anyway, they all jumped on and took the ship. I like how I don't even know. I don't even know what it's, you've seen so many movies, they all seem like they're just kind of chilling. They're like, I'm getting my sea legs on, man. Come on, shoot. It's a little wobbly. I would assume they made contact with the people. They're like, we're about to board you. If you do anything stupid, we will shoot you dead. This is kind of cool. These people are stupid is what Tim Tuberville is actually saying. He's torching his own senators. So right now that means this guy's getting some points in my world. Maybe he's that 3rd or 4th senator that might be worth keeping. Loosely, I say that. Howley's on the list forever now on the other side, which I've been questioning him for a long time, but I'm just glad. I'm glad to be confirmed on that one. That's all I can say.
To this, but what was your take on the reaction to the raid where it felt like maybe the public, people I spoke to personally, really loved it, and then in the media you would think it was some sort of a illegal maneuver?
They thought it was a coup. Yeah. The dictator Donald Trump's out there showing his strength of what he can do. These people are stupid. Okay, let me just put it simple. Okay, a bunch of morons. Now we're going to vote today on some kind of War Powers Act where you'll have Democrats and Republicans vote. Like Donald Trump should have come to us and asked us for permission. Are they stupid? I mean, you can't say anything up here that doesn't get out to this mainstream media. Can you imagine Swalwell in the house over there hearing something about this and running to his Chinese girlfriend and tell you, y'all better get ready of what's going on. They're coming into Venezuela. We don't need to know that. I mean, we need to know that it works, that what we are planning are people who can do the things without really worrying about somebody going behind their back and tipping somebody off. So thank God that President Trump is in there, that number one, to make the decision. Number two, have all the people like Ratliff in the CIA, Hexeth, Rubio, all these people in place that have been planning this for months and months. And I'm going to give another, Kash Patel. He's very involved in this with the FBI. So it was everybody on deck, everybody do your job. Let's plan this. General Kane, Raisin Kane, who's the head of the Joint Chiefs, he's fantastic. He doesn't have the military reading these books about social justice like the last one had. I mean, look, I don't think folks really understood what was going on in our country because they really don't want to. You really don't want to know what's going on. I saw all this nonsense. And let me tell you something. We were headed down a road of no return because I coached football teams, and I know how important it is for everybody to play as a team to win. Well, that's what this was. This was Team USA taking on Team Venezuela, China, Russia, North Korea, everybody down there because they all have a hand in it. And let me put somebody else in it, Cuba. They did all the security for Maduro because he didn't trust his own people, and I think we wiped out about half of them. So you can't put a figure on this of how much it really means to everybody across the world that the United States is back and their military will kick your ass if you get in their way. So good.
Pretty much all that needs to be said right there. And I think for most of us Americans, we're just stoked that this is finally happening again.
If you look among 2024 Trump supporters, we're talking about 80% support. The vast, vast majority of Republicans are with Donald Trump on this issue. Donald Trump has had an iron grip on that Republican base for a long period of time, and it is the same iron grip that he had 6 months ago. I know every so often people are trying to say, oh, I spot these little rifts in the Republican base. Oh, you know, they're finally starting to break. They're starting to break from Donald Trump. It ain't happening.
It ain't happening is exactly right. No can do. I won't go for that, or I can't go for that. No. Here's some J.D. Vance action talking about, this is another story. One, it was being reported, Wall Street Journal, WAPO, one of the ones, I mean, it was a rag source of information. So I'm like, I don't trust this at all. That said, they were saying that Tulsi Gabbard was left out of this whole Venezuela thing because of comments she made. She was left out. They were saying a couple crazy things, and J.D. Vance sets people straight.
So I've heard a couple of things. One, that I was kept out of the planning for the Venezuela operation. That's false. And another, that Tulsi was kept out of the planning for Venezuela operations. That's completely false. Look, we're all part of the same team. And one of the things that is really amazing about that operation is that we kept it very tight to the senior cabinet level officials and related officials in our government. And we kept this operation secret for a very long time. I'm very proud of that. I think it suggests that the team works very well together. Looking ahead, what is my role? Look, my role is going to be whatever the president asks me to do. Well, every other day, I'm chairing the meeting that we do on this among White House principals to talk about next steps to try to ensure that Venezuela is stable, and as the president has directed us to do, to ensure that the new Venezuelan government actually listens to the United States and does what the United States needs it to do under our country's best interest. So I'm going to be as involved as the president wants me to be. So far, that's been very involved, and I'll keep on doing that so long as the president asks me to do it.
Yeah, we're being lied to, and there's a bunch of people that are pushing these lies. You've got to be very careful where you get the information from. If it's coming from literally Axios, Politico, Reuters, or most likely the other mainstream stuff, double check it. If it says anonymous sources in the story, because they have to say it. If it says anything like that, you know it's bullshit. And it is. It's not even worth mentioning because it's probably not true. That's all they want. They want the mention. They want people to think it's true. Donald Trump truthed this out. Venezuela is releasing large numbers of political prisoners as a sign of seeking peace. This is a very important and smart gesture. The USA and Venezuela are working well together, especially as it pertains to rebuilding in a much bigger, better, and more modern form their oil and gas infrastructure. Because of this cooperation, I have canceled the previously expected second wave of attacks, which looks like it will not be needed. However, all ships will stay in place for safety and security purposes. At least $100 billion will be invested by Big Oil, all of whom I will be meeting with today at the White House. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, we've got this Venezuelan, most dangerous socialist, Diosdado, that's probably how you say that, Diosdado Cabello. He warned that they have monopoly on weapons in the new show of strength. Dios is God, Dado, I don't know. Cabello, isn't that head? Cabezas head. What the hell is Cabello? Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what these words are. I know Dio is God. Gods of something or whatever. Anyway, this dude's a bad dude, and he's claiming he's got control of the weapons. And if that's actually true, he's going to be in a bad place. Because I'm sure someone's going to be like, look, you got to tell us where he's at, and we're going to come get him. That's it. And you're going to let us come get him. And if you don't let us come get him, we're going to rock and roll you. It's time. It's time. U.S. control of Venezuela could last for years, Trump is saying. We're going to be involved for a while. I don't think this is no boots on the ground or anything yet. So, is it a regime change? To a degree. We're trying to give it back to Venezuela, though. It's been in a drug lord's hands for 15 plus years. So, yeah, we'd like to give them a chance to take it back. Rubio's talking about democracy in Venezuela will happen after recovery. He says step one in the stabilization of the country. We don't want it descending into chaos. Part of that stabilization and the reason why we understand and believe that we have the strongest leverage possible is our quarantine. We are going to take between 30 and 50 million barrels of oil. We are going to sell it in the marketplace at market rates, not at the discounts Venezuela was getting. That money will then be handled in such a way that we will control how it is dispersed in a way that benefits the Venezuelan people, not corruption, not the regime. So they're bringing all this in, he says, and then the The third phase is of course, will be the transition, giving it back to Mojado, most likely, or at least new elections. Now, there's been a lot of stories pushed about Mojado and how Trump he made a strong comment, and a lot of people are kind of taking that a little funny. They're reading into it a lot. What Trump has said is they don't have confidence in you means literally this is a drug run ring. Like the top guy we just took out, but there's still like 4 people that absolutely have zero respect for Mojado. There's no way she would ever keep power. They would take it from her. It's not that she's not good enough. It's not that she's not great enough. And it's not that she's not, whatever. 2 things that were inappropriate, I was going to say. So, that's probably a good thing. Weird when it does work, and it's odd when it does. It doesn't and does. Venezuelan leader Mojado says he is going to visit the U.S. next week, or she says, I should say. They're going to visit next week, so we'll see how that plays out. Again, I think part of it is going to be trying to get her back in power for sure, but we've got to get the drug people out of power. Much like here, we've got to get the shit people out, and that's tricky. It's not easy. So all these people that are like, just get in there and just take them out with the military, man. You got to do it legally. That's the thing. They've got laws for a reason. Laws are important, and if the government can just break the laws whenever they want just because it serves their purpose, well then that's kind of what a lot of us have been fighting all along to begin with, right? And now all of a sudden to be on the good side, we're like, now we can do what they were going to do. Ha ha ha. No, we're not. We're going to do this right. Unemployment falls to the lowest it has in a long time. Economy adds 50,000 jobs. Honestly, I think they try to say that healthy unemployment's like right around 5%, I think. So it's almost a little low, which is not necessarily a good thing. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but there's a certain level of you want to have some available workforce to absorb growth and stuff like that. So we've got people that aren't looking for jobs that should be. There's a lot of weird stuff that factors into that number. Whatever the case is, the economy's doing better, actually, than they've talked about. Now, farmland in Georgia, not going so well. They're actually, this one particular farmer is talking about his story, and he's got a 6,000-acre farm. Last year, he only planted half of that acreage, and this year he's talking about planting even less. It's too expensive to plant. They're not getting enough money for the stuff that they're selling. I mean, maybe they're selling some of it locally, but anything that used to go into larger markets, they can't anymore because of the way pricing and tariffs and all this crap is going. So a lot of farmers are having a hard time. Trump's been trying to help with that. So, again, not sure how much of this story is just somebody that maybe doesn't qualify. I don't know if he doesn't qualify, if his farm's too big. I mean, it's not that big a farm, but I don't know. Whatever the case is, it's affecting farmers. Donald Trump tweeted this out. Biden ignoring the housing market and instead was immersed with high crime, open borders, runaway inflation, the Afghanistan disaster, and a military that he left in chaos and confusion. Everything was broken, but I, as President of the United States, have already fixed it. He's doing the camel case again. It's very interesting when he does that. Now, I'm giving special attention to the housing market because I chose not to sell Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in my first term, a truly great decision, and against the advice of the experts, it is now worth many times that amount, an absolute fortune, and has $200 billion in cash. Again, spending money where we have it. I've been talking about it. We are broke as a corporation. Trump is using tariffs. Trump is using things like Fannie Mac. He's running out as much of that money as he can to get this new, the new republic going, essentially. And I'm sure we'll have another election at some point, maybe sooner than later. We'll find out. Who knows? It doesn't necessarily have to fall on the same 4-year cycles we've been on. It might happen the year that we actually have the bankruptcy go into effect. Maybe that's later this year. Maybe that's next. Someone had talked about how Trump will step down in the middle of his term. And maybe he does to retake the new presidency. Who knows? Who knows? We're heading into a very interesting place, but $200 billion is going to go into buying mortgage bonds. He says this will drive mortgage rates down, monthly payments down, and make the cost of owning a home more affordable. Somehow. I don't exactly know how that works, but it will help. Atlanta Fed nearly doubles the Q4 growth estimate. So we're looking at a potential this is GDP, 5.4% in Q4. So, yeah, Trump's figured out some stuff. And we're doing a hell lot better as a country than we were before. Isn't that weird? So strange. All right, silver was up a bunch. It was up $3. Let's see where it's at once it catches up. That 78.26 is where it was teasing me last. Might still be close to that. I don't know. Feel like it's not changing. Nothing's changing for that matter, though. Yeah, gold, silver, gold up a little bit. Again, gold's the measure of inflation and how badly you're losing buying power. So being up $33 in a day, that's not great. That's whatever that percentage of that of 44, whatever that basic percentage is of that 0.74%, basically. You just lost 0.74% buying power, essentially, in one day. It's really kind of what that plays out to. Just another day, you lost 0.74% buying power. One day. Silver, yeah, still up $3.12, it looks like. 78.26. Again, it's all over the place. They're doing stuff with paper contracts, trying to keep that price down because it's literally bankrupting. From what I understand, Chase is one of the worst, and likely may never be allowed to issue silver bonds again ever because of how fraudulent they probably will have been found out to be. We'll see how that plays out, but yeah, so things are getting extraordinarily interesting. Guys, look, you don't want to hang in their system. If you got a 401k or an IRA, get out of that tax-free, penalty-free. They move the money sideways as much of it as they can. Divest. It's physical metals. They're put into a trust. If they gave them to you physically, that's a payout. That's literally giving you the money. If they give you the money, then you're going to get taxed. You're going to get penalized. Now, having them move it over sideways first and then dumping it all into your lap, I don't know. At least get the first part done, and you're going to get up to 10% free silver, by the way, from Goldco, which is super cool. Silver's the one that's actually multiplying right now. Silver's out of control. Silver's going to easily hit 200 I even wonder, but by the end of next year, we'll easily see silver in the 200 range. A lot of that has to do with manufacturing. A lot of that has to do with all these different technology that silver's being used in. So it is definitely going to go up in price a lot. The paper contracts have been artificially holding it down, and they've been doing that for a lot of reasons, but none of them really good. So yes, this is going to stop, and this was going to be a difficult time for the deep state because we are crunching them hard. Silver will destroy the Fed. Gold will destroy the Fed. And this is playing out. So go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can. Like I said, you're going to get up to 10% free silver. I mean, nothing's free, right? You're moving over stuff. You're going to move over as much as you can. They're going to kick you back some free silver, if you will. And you're also going to get a free Ronald Reagan coin. That's just for calling within 20 minutes. Again, nothing's free. If you can make a phone call within 20 minutes, you're going to likely get a nice little Ronald Reagan coin, 0.999% pure silver. It's minted by the U.S., so it's legal tender. But it's worth way, way more than, I don't know if it's a $5 coin or something like that. Like this one here, what is this, a $50 coin, I think? Something like that. The gold one. Oh, it's a $100 coin. So it's a $100 coin, but it's worth way the hell more than $100. Unless that's a Federal Reserve dollar. And that could be what that's baked off of, by the way. They may have already set the number. And so this may be worth 4,500 Federal Reserve notes, but it's only worth $100. That just hit me. That's likely what's up. Like they've already kicked in this is what it's going to be. $100 for a gold ounce coin. Not whatever the hell it gets up to. And like I said, it's already at 44 and change, right? That's how bad the inflation is. And I don't know how much of that converts well back into Treasury money when they finally do put us on something that's backed by precious metals. It'll be interesting to see. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Let my good friends help you through this process. You don't want to stay in their system. You're losing buying power. This will protect, and in the silver case, you're actually going to make buying power. You're going to increase your buying power. Gold will protect. Inflation will no longer affect you. That's what will happen. It will no longer affect you. You will be safe from inflation for the most part. Silver, you're going to make money on. You're going to actually make buying power. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that nasty system, folks, please. Whoops. Okay, let's just turn everything on. There we go. That's better. Donald Trump talking about his Marco Rubio and and him knowing Cuba very well, which I think is hilarious.
Get to that.
I know, but it's unbelievable.
Can Cuba survive without Venezuelan oil? I don't see how it can.
Can who survive?
Cuba.
No, Cuba totally relies on Venezuela for money and for oil, and they give Venezuela protection. That was always the deal. They're very tough. They're good soldiers. They got wiped out, as you know.
Yeah.
3 days ago, wiped out. I don't want to even say how many, but they got wiped out. But Cuba gives protection to Venezuela, and Venezuela gives Cuba money through oil.
Yeah.
And it's worked that way for a long time.
You talked about...
But it doesn't work that way anymore. So I don't know what Cuba's going to do. I think Cuba's going to fail. I don't think there are any alternatives for Cuba.
I don't know how they survive without Venezuelan
We have
energy.
great people from Cuba. Marco Rubio is great. He knows Cuba very well.
Some people said somebody told me today it was Marco's revenge.
Well, maybe it was, but they a lot of great people.
Yeah,
a lot of great people. We'll see what happens.
Well, you live in South
We
Florida.
want to do something to help Cuba.
Yeah, but let me. You mentioned Vladimir Putin.
You know the Cubans I want to help? Though? I want to help the Cubans in the United States that got treated so badly by Castro.
Plantains for everybody. I mean, a lot of people eat plantains, by the way, but Cubans do too. I like it. Marco's revenge. He's like, maybe that's true. There might be some truth to that. And I'm sure Marco's laughing. He's like, hell yeah, fuck those people ruining my friggin' homeland. I bet. Giant mountain of garbage collapses at Philippine landfill, killing 2 people, leaving 36 others missing. Yeah, likely more dead people. So they had this Mount Pinatubo that they're building over there of trash that gave way. Kind of funny. Their engineering skills may not be as robust as they need to be, because it looks like something kind of failed, maybe. But I'm just saying, what do I know? What do I know? I'm a crazy person. But yeah, they had an avalanche. Definitely killed some people. It's very sad. Manila. Certainly not anywhere near. My girlfriend's like, I don't know, as far as driving goes, I think she's north of Manila by like 45 minutes-ish. Pampanga is where she's from. Anyway, it's up there closer to Clark Air Force Base. That's actually a little bit closer to where she is. Anyway, that's how all that works. It's crazy. Big bunch of islands, man. Philippines is a crazy place, but anywho. Debanking explodes to record high in Britain. So not just putting people in jail for tweets they don't like and stuff like that. And there's even a rumor floating around right now that they're thinking of getting rid of Twitter. I want to say it was in England. I don't think it was France. I think it was England. It was just like, what? Anyway, whatever. Just nonsense. With supposedly 453,230 accounts were shut down in the United Kingdom last year. And it's for people that are spending money in ways they aren't supposed to. Now, again, a lot of those are probably criminal, I'm sure. A good chunk of them, hopefully half, at least. But, a lot of them are people that are, talking and aren't supposed to say stuff, like are supposed to shut up. I don't know what's happening with England. I mean, I guess maybe that's the ultimate place that's got to come down. Like we always said, like save Israel for last. Maybe it was like, the crown. Don't even bring it up. The Trump admin's halting aid to Somalia amid accusations of theft and fraud. They're like, we're not even going to send your country money anymore. No. Yeah, this, and like Vance said, he's like, look, I'm not trying to say all Somalians are bad. I'm just saying when 85% of you in our country are taken advantage of, first off, you've got to wonder what's wrong with the 15% of you that aren't. Should just be 100 at that point. The hell's going on? Horrible. So, yeah, we're not trusting Somalia right now. It looks like we're about to go to war with them. I'm kidding, kind of, but this bill is barring Somalia officials from accessing U.S. funding. Yeah, completely. They're cutting people off big time. Senator Jim Banks is actually introducing legislation to do exactly this. So that one will go down party lines, probably. That'll be interesting. I wonder where Massey will vote on that. Guy's pointless. Russia attacked again with the Orshnik missile. I had a couple of places I found this story. And at first I was like, well, it looks like they hit this apartment from an angle, because Orshnik missiles don't. They're very top down. And then I was like, I don't know. It looks like it did get hit from top down. So Orshnik missile, one of the warheads anyways, and I've got video of it actually, which is pretty cool. These things are cool. And I don't know if we could shoot these out, by the way. I don't even know if lasers would. Maybe they would. But they are extraordinarily fast, and the kinetic energy, just alone, at the speed they're traveling, is impressive, to say the least. Usually it's mv squared, I think, divided by 2 or whatever, but which is, I honestly think is a what do they call that? Mendoza effect or Mandela effect. I actually do. I swear to God, I remember it being mv squared. Period. Just that was it, not divided by 2. But all said, that changed somewhere, I swear. But we've got we've got just the kinetic energy is just outrageous on these missiles. Here is the visual of it. It's pretty crazy. I don't think it makes noise. I'll play this again. Hang on, start it over. Look at this. This is crazy. I wonder about the first two. The first two are a trip because they look different than the last two, right? We've got these weird like streaks. I don't know if I can show these without playing it, but they look like streaks compared to the actual missiles. Let me play it one more time, see if you guys see that too. I don't know. The first 2 strikes, I want to say. First 3 strikes. They look like lightning bolts almost. And then after that, there's like 3, 4 of actual, looks like warheads of some kind. So I don't know if they have some sort of weird counter offense or something, or if it was maybe just 2 missiles coming in simultaneously, whatever the case is. Pretty wild how those work. And again, I think there's a little bit of show of force right now. And I feel like China's kind of like looking at us and looking at Russia and like, shit. So it's almost like, what do you guys got that can show how tough you are? Because we've demonstrated we can literally shut the lights out. We can destroy. We can literally take a leader from a compound at a military base, land there, take you, and fly you out without losing a soul. Yeah, it's hard to say no at, and Russia's like, we can do this, and we're like, well, that's pretty cool. That's definitely pretty cool. Yeah, those look like they'd be very hard to shoot out, for sure. Now, maybe we could get them. If we got them in the launch phase, it'd be much easier. I would say that. That's probably the easiest time to try to get them, but you have to have something really close to where they're at, or something with amazing range that can shoot through atmosphere, maybe. Again, I don't know. This isn't my problem to figure out, thank God. I'd be really bummed making weapons. It'd be fun being in physics, but it'd be sucky making weapons. Trump backs bill imposing a 500% tariff on India, China, and Brazil for buying Russian oil. This is going to make it really tough for Russia. So, again, I keep wondering about this little prophecy of the 15th. I think is the date. Right around there anyways. If they're within a day or two, I'll consider that close enough. But, yeah, there's was it Swedlowski or whatever? Whatever his name is. Some dude whose grandfather was the first president of Soviet Union or something like that, whatever his name is, something to that effect. Nino's had him on a few times. He loves him. He thinks the dude's like, a prophet or something. And again, Nino has a lot of interesting people on his show. It's all cool. But Trump is backing this bill. This is going to make it very hard for Russia to continue the war. Or will it? But they certainly lost Venezuela. That's a big hit for Russia and China. So again, we'll see how quickly these things. I mean, Russia's got its own oil, but they need to sell it. This is where they need the money from the oil. There's not a whole lot of other stuff other than weapons that they sell that are worth the crap. Right? Nobody really wants their cars. Their cars suck. Russian people don't even want Russian cars. They're not that good. They're crap cars. So yeah. Lebanese army says plan to limit weapons to state forces at advanced stages. So they're trying to restrict who has access to the crazy good weapons because they are trying to clean up everything. Israel wants to blow up Lebanon even more. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, We'll see. Every time I see Lebanese, I'm just like, really? They have a problem with gay women? What is up with that? Iran shuts down internet as protests against Islamist regime escalate, and it is. It's Ayatollah's like blaming Trump for it, but it's getting actually pretty serious. We've got some truth that Trump is sharing, so it's not terribly wrong, but this is something that the Iranian people want, and there's millions starting to rise up now. Just YouTube's going to
Protests in Iran's second largest city, Mashhad, have surpassed.
Anyway, that's all I'll play because get in trouble. But you get the point. Millions of people. Craziness. Here is the man and the man. Astronaut medical issues on ISS force early return to Earth. This is crazy. I want to play the story, and then we need to talk about this. Is significant. This is crazy. This is something. I'm not sure yet, but this is, I've got a speculation that might be decent, but I don't know. And I don't know what we'll ever find out, but check this out.
Next, a serious medical condition with a crew member aboard the International Space Station has led NASA to bring the astronaut and 3 crewmates back to Earth months earlier than planned.
This is the first such emergency returning in the orbiting laboratory in its 25-year history.
Yeah.
Here's more on that.
It's in the best interest of our astronauts to return Crew 11 ahead of their planned departure.
NASA is bringing the 4-astronaut team Crew 11 back from the International Space Station due to one member's serious medical issue. A senior NASA official said that it was the first time in the ISS's 25-year history that a mission ended early due to a medical issue. Jared Isaacman is NASA's administrator.
As we mentioned before, obviously this was a serious medical condition. That is why we're pursuing this path. Crew member is stable, as we mentioned. We're not electing an emergency deorbit.
NASA officials did not name the affected crew member, citing privacy. The issue led NASA to cancel a planned spacewalk scheduled for Thursday. NASA's Chief Medical Officer James Polk provided more details on the issue.
Once again, this is not an operational issue. This is not an injury that occurred in the pursuit of operations, if that was the question. But unrelated to the operational environment that we have right now. It's mostly having a medical issue in the difficult areas of microgravity. And with the suite of hardware that we have at our avail to complete a diagnosis.
Crew 11 arrived at the ISS after launching from Florida in August 2025 and were originally due to return around May this year. Astronauts rarely acknowledge or describe their medical conditions publicly. In the past, NASA has canceled spacewalks for medical reasons, such as spacesuit discomfort in 2024 and a pinched nerve in 2021.
You found me.
You ever had an erection that lasted for more than 4 hours? You ever had one that lasted for more than 12 days? No, I'm just kidding. That's probably not what it is. We had to lock him in another room. He was out of control. This is interesting because this implies like they're trying to get the people off the space station and make it look like it's okay. There has been discussions that, and this was in the past, I'd call it leaks, but it's going to seem oddly self-serving, that they've maybe got some problems with the structural integrity of the space station, that there are aspects of it that are not properly working the way they should, and we might be abandoning it. There was sort of I want to say there was a prophecy at one point that lives could potentially be lost on the space station. So I'm still kind of wondering what happens, but we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Again, this is just a medical thing, and they're bringing all 4 of them home? Oh, okay. You don't need to bring them all home, right? Or is it just, since it's so expensive, it might as well get them all at one time? Otherwise, you don't have enough budget to send an extra rocket up. Maybe Musk would be willing to, take one for the team, but sure he charges the government quite a bit when they do that kind of stuff. So who knows? But this is a big deal. It's a very big deal. And there's a lot of discussion. One, the International Space Station's kind of sort of public, but there's some discussions that there's like a number of space stations that we have, dark stations that are probably not visible, most likely even at different orbits, likely higher orbits, because if they're at lower orbits, they would very well pass underneath this guy. So odds are they're at a higher orbit and they would be impossible to see above you because it's black. Unless the sun and pass right between it, maybe. So this, again, we're going into a very interesting time. Sun's activity, and on top of that, our weakened magnetic field, and that's causing an expansion of the atmosphere a little bit, which is really screwing with a lot of the SpaceX satellites. So there's just a lot of weird things at play right now, and I think these are things we should keep tabs on. I will, anyways. I'm going to. I didn't actually listen to the Sun guy today. Hope we're okay. We'll see. There was a giant coronal mass ejection on the other side. Big one, though. Oof. I can't wait to see which one made that. FDA says many fitness wearables they're not going to be subject to AI control, AI regulation. That's something worth keeping in mind. If the watches are helping you guys, all right, cool. All right. I've actually had a number of people tell me how excited they are. Like my accountant cracks me up. And he's like, it tells me to stand up. I'm like, you seriously need the watch to tell you that? And he's like, yeah, I'd sit there all day just working. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like me, I'm pretty good. Like every 10, I don't know, not every 10, but every like hour, maybe every hour, 15 hour, 30, I don't know. I get up, I walk, I go downstairs, grab something, whatever. I don't know. I just get the blood flowing, or I'll stand up. I got a standable desk, which I'm standing right now, so I record this way. But so, I mean, right? Like, I don't need it, but maybe you do. But they're not going to regulate those things. So AI is going to, whatever it's trying to accomplish, it's going to spy on you a lot. It pays attention to you constantly, especially if you're wearing those things while you sleep. Again, I don't own a smartwatch at all. Even a Samsung. Like, I don't trust any of them. I have a normal watch that I occasionally wear when I travel. Normally, I don't necessarily wear it because it's just, it's not necessary. But it's something I love. I bought it when I was working a bunch of overtime. It was pretty cool. Proud of myself. Had a really good year. Made a bunch of money. I was like, all right, let's buy a nice watch. And I did. And I like it. It's not like a Rolex or anything crazy like that. It's close, but it's not. It's good. Tag. It's a Tag Heuer. Let's just be honest. It's not that great, But it's cool. It's a beautiful watch. I love it. All said, FDA says many fitness wearables are going to be not part of this, so be careful. Fitbits, the Apple Watches, the Samsung Watches, I'm sure they're going to have all sorts of other crazy stuff, glasses, anything that you wear on your body. Be mindful, folks. They're going to spy on you hard. If you need it, if it's benefiting you, cool. If you're even remotely paranoid like me, don't do it. It's not worth it. Not worth it at all, people. We're going to win this battle in the end. I can tell you that much. It's because of you guys, of course. We're this like weird, unstoppable force. I'm not trying to oversell that either. You guys, I don't think, appreciate how powerful you are. And I appreciate you guys. Keep prayers of peace in your mind. We are heading to a world of peace. Keep that thought in your mind if you can, please. Certainly, I'm not trying to force you to, but if we can all hold this idea of peace, that we can come to a world where we don't necessarily have to kill each other, we're going to make it through this. And that's going to be key. So if we can get there, we got this. We're doing it together. It's all I know. I'm not going to leave your guys' back, that's for sure. And I'm certainly not going to stop doing my best to lead in the front as well. But where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.